for your party?
Get ready for school. Party's not till later.
What do you have for Thursday?
Yes, party is at, 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's this afternoon.
You know what time?
No, it's, holiday celebration. The pole that goes from the street light to the other street light, it's like a big mural.
Oh, that's called power company.
Jason said, huh?
Should say it's called power.
Well, I mean, it's not broken, it's just snow, and it's icy snow. The guy that jumped on top of the driveway has a pile of snow.
We're not going out in that car at all. Right? Not ever, until the snow melts. Your car. You should have piled us in.
Well, yeah, but I don't like having, because it turned to a hard rock, it was a hard rock for me.
It will melt.
I had to get it out of here.
Okay.
Inside our house.
Yeah, what about it?
Did you get the car inside of?
No, there's no car inside your house or our house. But anyhow,
Inside a movie with the.
Are we just waiting?
yeah, if you look at this dogwood tree, it didn't come out very big. It's so, the weight of the snow is brought the branches had to go down. Yeah, we're waiting. Oh, look, Teddy, you still do put that clip up too. I got that. That's pretty sweet. I heard you say that clip up.
Okay, I'm back, Biffy.
No shower, daytime high near 36. Overnight low of 26 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy for your Friday with highs in the upper 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Today is Thursday.
What are Thursdays?
Feeling frisky, especially on Thursdays.
Thursdays are for me.
Beautiful. Now, can we all please get back to work?
I can't work Thursdays.
When do you work? Well, I'm something of a famous radio personality.
I'm a radio host.
I work at radio.
That's not a real job. That's not a real job.
Radio people are the coolest.
We're mass communicating. All right, let's do this.
Now we begin.
All right, kids. It's showtime.
Something to think about, something to laugh about, and something to talk about every day. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Brought to you in part by Wheeling Hospital.
Listen, I'm going to concur with the guy there who said it's not a real job. I just get to come here every morning for 3 hours and talk to you all and talk to interesting people and have a lot of fun and every once in a while have a little influence on the community. And it's not a real job, you know. It's fun. Someday, I've done this for 50 years. Someday I may grow up and get a real job, but not today. Not today. What are we looking at here on the show this morning? It's Dig Out from the Snow Day. We've been talking about that. Vaccine rollout continues as COVID cases still are rising locally and across the country. Drinking on the job has new meaning in these pandemic times. I'll tell you about that coming up a little bit later on this morning. Congress seems close to a new coronavirus relief bill. Wheeling Health Right has been serving the Valley for 35 years. In the last hour, we talked to Kathy Brown. I almost said Kathy Hayes again, her maiden name.
You caught yourself, though.
I know, I caught myself. Kathy Hayes Brown, the director of Health Right for 30 years herself, talking about the history of Health Right, how difficult this year has been, and the tribute they're paying to Dr. Huffreiter in this pandemic year. And in just a minute, Bill Bryson back with us to talk about more traveling from Uniglobal High Valley Travel. Weather-wise, cold and cloudy, a cleanup day today after the snow yesterday. Man, I was just looking out on the deck. I got to take my stick out and measure on the deck how much snow there is. I didn't realize how deep it was out there where it hasn't been touched yet. Looking for high in the mid-30s. Currently, let me double-check this before I get to Bill. Currently 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Feels like 25. A little bit of wind blowing around out there. 30 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 30 degrees at my home studio here in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. And 30 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Where from Uniglobal High Valley Travel, Bill Bryson is hanging out. I asked Bill to stick around a little bit. We haven't talked for so long. I thought it'd be kind of fun to catch up on what's happening with Bill and Uniglobe and travel in general. It's been a tough time for the travel industry. Bill, you guys have managed to at least hold things together, I guess, over the last several months, though, huh?
Yeah, so far. And like I said, if we just keep going the way we're going here now, the vaccine is key. I think that once we get it out and more people get it, confidence rises, and with the increase in confidence, people are definitely ready to go. So they're just waiting for the opportunity. So, and we'll be ready.
And yeah, I'm just again, I've been content for the last number of months and just staying in and being the COVID hermit that I am. But I got to tell you, I'm getting antsy. I'm really getting ready to go traveling someplace, somewhere, somehow, and then you guys are of no help to me because you put all this neat stuff up on social media.
Yeah, the girls are pretty good on that. We got this 12 trips for Christmas, I think, running right now. So pretty interesting places to go.
Some of those things are really catching my attention. What are the things that you have found as we look ahead to 2021? What are people showing the most interest in booking as they look ahead, Bill?
Well, the two most popular probably are Disney and maybe an all-inclusive. And what we're seeing is that people lost a year, and maybe that was last year was the year they were going to take the family to Disney or their annual trip to somewhere in the Caribbean. And, maybe they pushed it back into early fall thinking they could still get it off, and didn't happen. And now they're calling, they're hoping that everything's going to work out, and maybe this spring or summer they're going to be able to go. So I would say those two areas, Disney and the Caribbean islands, are probably the two most popular, at least at this point.
Disney is one of those places where it seems to me people sometimes sort of, they go at certain times of their lives. And I think probably my wife and I are somewhat like this. We actually went to Disney as part of our honeymoon, just the two of us. And then we went back with the kids when they were of kids' age. And we've been kicking around the last couple of years now, taking Teddy down for, visit to Disney. But it's very time sensitive. I mean, you want to take your kids when they're Disney kids. So
right.
Losing a year can be a big difference.
Yeah. Marcy, of course, she's selling Disney, and you may want to take your daughter, granddaughter when she's 2 or 3, and Princess are really important to her. Or you may want to go later, and when the roller coasters are more important. And Marcy said to me one time, and I never forgot it, really hit home. She said, well, if you pick one or the other, which part of that life do you want to give up? Oh, yeah. That was like a dagger. None. I had the opportunity a few years ago, 3 years in a row, we traveled with 3 different families that had a 1-year-old. And people sometimes will say, well, maybe I should wait until they're older. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, the 1-year-olds, the families that I went with that had 1-year-olds, I mean, it was a wonderful trip. Would have been better if it was 2 or 3. It would have been a different trip if it was 2 or 3 or 4. And even my own daughter, when her oldest now is 11, but I guess when she was 1, Erin was never a big Disney fan. And I guess we finally talked her into going and taking Elisa with us. And we get back, and sure enough, Erin says, well, when do you think we can go again? It's as much fun for the adults as it is for the little ones. And to be going through that stage of life with them, when they get to be a princess, when they get to ride the roller coaster with you, or the merry-go-round even. That's a shared experience that's really, really special. And all the pictures and all the other characters and everything that go with that, it's really special. So whether you're 1 or whether you're 5 or 8 or 10, there's not a bad time to go to Disney with your family. I mean, it's easy for us to say, hey, yeah, go at each of those ages, but there is something for everybody at any age. And I don't think anybody's ever come back and said, boy, I'll never go there again.
and there's even things for adults. I mean, again, we've now refocused our thoughts on our 5-year-old grandson. But before Teddy was born, Nancy and I, as empty nesters, we were thinking about going back just ourselves, because Disney also offers things for adults just to, I mean, they have nightclubs, and they have different things you can go as adults too. So it really, your point is there's no bad age to go. But I just think that if you were thinking about it, you wanted to take your kid at a certain age to appreciate it the most, and if the pandemic has you lose that year, you don't want to lose too many years, I guess is what I'm saying. So,
right.
What is Disney doing? Have they adapted much?
Yeah, they've got that. I don't know how you would know, but I think they don't think that there's been any issues whatsoever at Disney World. They do maintain spacing. They have a limited number of people. They're not going to 100%, so and they don't announce what it is either. So we don't actually know, but they do keep a lid on how many people can get in each park, and they do all the protocols that you would expect. So they're doing a really good job. And again, if you're thinking about going, don't hold back. They're open. They've been open for a while. Disneyland, however, is not, but Disney World in Florida, their parks are all open and receiving guests.
Let's talk about international travel. Bill, one of the last trips I went on with you guys, we did our German cruise, and it took us through Switzerland and France and Germany and Amsterdam, and man, that was a ton of fun. Are you, is international travel back on the agenda again?
Back on the agenda, that goes even way above us in terms of whether we're able to do it. And again, I think the counts are high, and until they start coming down, the borders are going to be closed. But our first one is the riverboat cruise out of France, and that's in late May. So we've still got another 5 months before that, and we've got a number of people on that. Georgette's going to be the escort, and it got moved from the fall. And again, as long as things go along according to, I think, everyone's plan, that should be okay. So that's our first one out. And then in late June, we had a trip last year for Ireland, an escorted trip to Ireland. And a lot of the people said, hey, we'll push it back a year. And I think we may still have like 2 seats left on that thing. I think we could take 40, but there's like 38 people on that trip. So once they clear all the international places, clear us to go, and our country clears us to go there, we're good. And by May, June, hopefully that's all going to happen. And then in June, Alaska, and we were really kind of frustrated because the only international spot on our Alaska cruise tour, I think it's 11 days, 7-day cruise, 4-day land tour, it's a great trip, is you got to go to a foreign port. And in this case, it's either into or out of Vancouver. So that's the only Canadian port. And last year, I mean, they just pretty much cut off Alaska. You could fly into Alaska and do land, but you can't do any cruises because a cruise has to go to at least one foreign port. And sure enough, there's the one foreign port, and right now we can't even go into Canada. So until those numbers go down, again, we think they will, but last year Alaska really suffered because you couldn't get through Vancouver to get to some of the places in Alaska. But June, early June, I think this year, we're doing that 11-day. Caitlin's the escort on this one, doing the 11-day, 7-day cruise, 4-day land tour, and I've done that a couple of times. That's fabulous. And then the other one, the Danube in September. That's another European river cruise, and we have a number of people on that one already as well. So those are the 4 trips in the next, say, 8 months that are international in nature.
And the Alaska trip was just tremendous. I did the land and cruise part of it, and boy, that was a tremendous experience. Just a great trip. Really enjoyed that immensely. So.
And then the national park, we still have. We lost our Yellowstone trip last year, and we were able to put 2 on this year. One of them's already sold out, but we still have room on a July Yellowstone trip. That should be really, really cool. You were on that trip with us, I think, a few years back as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, the other one we talked about, that Rocky Mountaineer with 4 national parks, that's going to be October 4th. So we've got a couple of Western trips. It turns out about 4 international trips. Alaska, there's some really cool stuff there, and it's really time to start thinking about it. We're gonna try to do some kind of an Alaska night, and we're not quite sure how to do it. We've done some virtual shows with minimal success, but I don't know whether people are ready to come out for something like that. We may have to wait a little bit longer before we do an Alaska night, but we do still have space on our Alaska cruise tour in June.
So really, again, I'm guessing, and we should put the caveat here, I guess, Bill, that we're still in a very iffy period. Things could change. Conditions could change, regulations could change. But it seems to me that by the time we get past spring, and it's just me making a guess based on informed information that I have, it seems to me once we get past spring, vaccine will have really begun to roll in significantly. People have had a chance to have had the vaccine, their second dose, begin to spread through the community a little bit. Hopefully COVID will go down. We're in a raging time right now. We're going to go through some bad times, but I'm just thinking spring, late spring, early summer. I think things should be relatively close to normal. Again, I'm making a guess and want to be clear that things could conceivably change, but that's kind of the timing I'm looking at.
Yeah, this has been the first time we've actually seen some good news. Now, the numbers of new cases aren't, and the number of deaths aren't down, but we're starting to see that the vaccine hopefully will give us some hope to all of that. And that's kind of like what we're seeing too, and encouraging people. If you're thinking about going on, well, if it's any of our trips or any of your own trips, we need to maybe start thinking about that now for April, May, June, and so on. And we're the same way. They were saying, I don't know if you believe it or not, but 50 million vaccines out by February, and there's 2 different ones now. So, and they're working hard to get it out. So it is encouraging, and hopefully all this will be behind us sooner rather than later.
Well, Bill, you always talk about writing the book. This will be one heck of a chapter.
There's a whole book. I don't like this book. Hey, one last thing I had, you mentioned gift certificates a while back. We have a little deal going where if you buy a $50 gift certificate, we're giving you a $5 or $5 for every 50. So if you're buying a $100 gift certificate for someone, then we'll give you another 10. So whether you want to give 100 and keep 10 for your own trip, that's fine. But and that continues whatever the denomination is. So if you want to give a travel, and we used to do a good bit of gift certificates for this time of year, and we can see people starting to think travel again, which is kind of encouraging for us.
I would think this year would be a really good year to give some gifts of travel, because if you have folks that you give to who do like to travel, whether it's just a one-day bus trip or a 2-day bus trip or a longer trip somewhere, if they're like me, they're beginning to say, "Oh man, I'm ready to go somewhere, somehow, some way." This would be a great gift to say, "Hey, it's coming, and we understand how much you want to travel. We want to help you, so here's a gift certificate." I think that would be a great gift for somebody who has been stuck without any travel for the past year.
Yeah, and they can kind of pick too. Hey, I want to do this kind of a trip or that kind of trip, or I want to put it towards something else. They get you're giving them a nice gift, and they get to pick how they use it.
And I guess, Bill, we should mention, we've talked here again about escorted trips that you're going to be doing. A lot of these things, a lot of people could do some of these trips on their own. National park trips are actually, by their nature, a little bit socially distanced trips if you want to do it on your own. So you could go to Yellowstone, for example. I think you could go by yourself, right? It's open to the general public.
Absolutely. And we can kind of help you with that. Like I said, I think I've been there maybe Yellowstone 6 times, Grand Canyon at least that many times. And as you go, there's so many different ways to do a trip like Grand Canyon. I think our favorite is going up through Sedona and that area, but you can go out toward the east with Canyonlands and Arches National Park and Monument Valley, and there's a lot of stuff out that way. You can go around the canyon with Bryce and Zion. You can use Las Vegas as a starting or stopping point. There's a lot of ways to do that, and depending on how much time you have, you can do it all. And we can help you with the lay of the land there too, and how it might work for you and your family.
And as I said, if you're still a little bit nervous about things, you want to make sure it's properly socially distanced and so on. You don't want to maybe go on a bus trip or something, or you could take these trips on your own. And it strikes me that some of those kinds of trips, the Western sort of things, the national park trips and so on, are really good if you're worried about social. You're outdoors. You can easily be separated from everybody if you want to. So it's a great way to kind of, if you want to go on your own, you can do that and probably feel pretty safe and pretty confident too.
Right, absolutely.
All right, people can give you a call, and I assume you're probably still fielding a lot of calls about people wondering what can they do, what's open, what's not, and so on. And I assume you and the folks at the office are happy to help out with that. Or if folks want to get more information on any of the trips we've talked about, they can give you a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
232-5171.
First,
And you guys are in the office occasionally, is that right?
we're
Or
in the
you're
office
all
every
the time
day.
now?
Yeah, we're working about 9 to 3, and we're starting to think, hey, by first of the year, maybe we should stay until 4, and the business comes back, back to the regular hours, 9 to 5. But right now it's 9 to 3, probably here through the holidays. But happy to help, whether it's a gift certificate, if it's a tour you're trying to put together on your own, happy to help. We're going to probably have a mailer going out on the motor coach trips the first week of January, and then right after that, we'll see on the bigger trips kind of how it's going. As the numbers start down, then we'll be able to maybe get a real nice mailer out that includes everything from these European river cruises to not only the motor coach trips, hoping still we can do a baseball trip to Texas in June, all that kind of the bigger trips as well. So we're cautiously optimistic, as they say.
Well, it's been good talking to you, Bill. I've missed talking to you, and I've missed traveling with you, and hopefully we can get back to business one of these days in the near future and do it again.
Likewise here, and really appreciate the opportunity. And if we don't talk before Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and Biff and your family and little Teddy and everybody else.
And to you and Sally and the whole gang as well.
Thank you.
By the way, this was a year you had all kinds of problems. You put a parade together and you couldn't have it.
No parade. I don't know what it was, Squib. Somebody sent me a note the night after the parade, and just kind of a sarcastic, great parade. And I said, yeah, the weather was fabulous. The crowds were down a little, So, yeah, we'll be back next year. I know you were talking to Kathy Brown. Kathy Brown was going to be one of the parade grand marshals this year, along with Reverend Darrell Cummings. This was his 40th anniversary, and we thought we could tie it in with his 40th, but as I told him afterwards, we'll have to celebrate your 41st next year along with Kathy, and who knows, we may find some more before then.
He was with us yesterday. That guy is one of the hardest working people I know.
He has been such a good part of this community and all the good work that he's done, and man, my hat's off to him, and I'm not sure why we didn't find him sooner to be a grand marshal. The 40th, when they announced the 40th anniversary, it was like a no-brainer. Gee, many Christmas. Reverend Cummings is perfect for a grand marshal. He's just done so much for the community.
Every time he's with us, though, I say, don't you get tired? It seems like he is perpetually doing something. They jump from one event to another event. Tomorrow gives me a quick chance to promote. In fact, tomorrow is their Christmas giveaway beginning is it 10 o'clock, Biff, tomorrow at the Dream Center?
Is it tomorrow or Saturday?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking today's Friday because I'm talking to Bill.
I wish today was Friday. That'd be nice.
You used to talk to Bill on Fridays. You're right. Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Dream Center. Drive through the alley behind for the food and supplies, and they're doing toys. That's going to be a slowdown because one kid at a time can go and pick up toys. But that is a good chance for me to promote that. That's a huge event. Don't complain if there's traffic in North Wheeling on Saturday. Bill, I got so upset last time. People were complaining, all this traffic, what's going on out there? There's thousands of people who need help, and Reverend Cummings was helping them. And
we don't want to hear it.
Yeah. I just get so frustrated. I get so frustrated. All right, sir, good talking to you. I appreciate it. Tell the staff I said hi, and, of course, especially Sally, tell her I hope she's doing well. Is she doing well?
She is. She is doing
Good.
well.
Good.
Yeah.
Tell her I wish her well. I wish you all happy holidays.
Will do.
We shall talk again soon. We'll get you back again from time to time just to remind people of what you got going on.
Maybe get past the first of the year here and get rolling. Maybe we get back on a regular basis. So.
All right. Good talking to you, Bill. Thanks so
Howard.
much for coming by. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
It is 9:30. It's news time here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Check in with Metro News. We get a little betting line for you. I want to talk about drinking on the job, which apparently is growing for people working from home. Not me. That's Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper. That's it. That's all shown here on the video screen. Just Diet Dr. Pepper. But I guess a lot of people are drinking from home. We'll talk about it. Coming up on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. There is a sense of relief to
Is he gone? I guess he's gone already, Biff. Okay, I was going to talk to him, but that's fine. All right, very good. Just do a few odds and ends to get us through to hopefully Bob Westfall will be on. And yeah, I was thinking, because I talked to Bill on Fridays, I thought, oh, I'm talking to Bill, so it must be a Friday. So, whoops, nope, that's not. All right. Yeah, do a few Christmas things, I guess, in the next segment here. Okay. Oh, I tell you what, Biff, I didn't do coronavirus yet, so let's do that when we come back. Yep, that's fine. You can do that. Thanks. Oh, yeah.
Vegas Raiders as 3-point road underdogs. Wide receiver Mike Williams questionable for the Chargers with a back injury. 36 catches, 572 yards, and 4 touchdowns this season. Had 5 for 81 of the first meeting with the Raiders this season. The Cleveland Browns at action on Sunday Night Football. Those 4.5-point favorites at the New York Giants. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones limited in practice with a hamstring and an ankle injury. And the Steelers are 12.5-point road favorites at the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football. For vsin.com, I'm Mike Sennett on The Watchdog.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
How do you give hope to a child in the foster care system? It starts with your heart. That tug you feel in yours when you hear that children are waiting for a stable, loving voice to speak up for their best interests. And then it becomes your time. What started out as a feeling that maybe you could make a difference becomes the difference. Change a child's story. There is a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
It's the Christmas traditions that make this time of year so special. Like spending time with family and friends, the spirit of giving, remembering our blessings.
May your holidays be truly bright. Merry Christmas from Main Street Bank.
Does this current crisis leave you wondering how to pay your bills? Well, a lot of people are struggling right now. I'm attorney Tom McIntyre. Call me today to schedule your telephone or video conference meeting, and I will send you a copy of my new book about bankruptcy, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Call 877-456-4155. Together, we will figure out what to do now and what to do when this is over. We will get through this together.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy, a light snow shower, daytime high near 36. Overnight low of 26 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy for your Friday with highs in the upper 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The Watchdog's Bill DeFabio, the only person to make both Santa's naughty and nice list, because he's really good at being really bad. Listen to Bill and Lola spreading Christmas joy. Weekdays 12 to 2, only on The Watchdog.
COVID-19 update.
Continuing coverage of the year America shut down continues on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
We were talking with Bill Bryson about the fact that I think that we're beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, but we are still in the tunnel, and I want to continue to talk about some of the local COVID numbers for you every day, just to keep track of it. Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department, yesterday, 21 new cases of COVID-19 positive testing results. Yesterday, during the community mass testing that the health department held yesterday, the health department performed 49 COVID tests for Ohio Valley residents. So free COVID testing continues in Ohio County at the 3 locations, Valley Grove, Warwood, and Wheeling Island. The fire stations in all of those cases continuing all this week, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're interested in having a COVID test done, you can have it done there. So many places you can get COVID tests anymore. You can get them at the MedExpress, those kind of folks. You can go to the Wheeling Hospital testing site, the one that has been up and running since the very beginning. It's no longer at Wheeling Park. It's now behind the old OVMC building. Kathy Brown was talking earlier about HealthRight does COVID testing. All you have to do is, go down. It's free and available for you there. So if you feel a concern or need for testing, they're all over the place here in the upper Ohio Valley. Marshall County Health Department, 8 new positive cases, 2 new probable cases. That seems to be a smaller number than we've had, Biffy, so maybe things are beginning to get a little bit better down there in Marshall County. Usually the last few weeks, really, we've been in double digits, I think, almost every day. So 8 new cases positive, 2 probable in Marshall County yesterday. And, of course, the vaccinations are beginning to be administered. They started earlier this week at Wheeling Hospital. The Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department now goes to what they call Phase 1B, which includes emergency responders, first responders, and public health folks. My son, who works for the health department, is actually getting his vaccine today. He'll be better inoculated than I will be. He's a young, hale, and hearty guy. Anyway.
Tell him to bring one for you.
Yeah, can you just put one in your pocket on the
Take an extra one for old Dad here.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, there's a story I read just last night. Apparently some of these things, he just sent me a text saying he's all done. So he is now COVID vaccinated, or at least his first of 2 shots. Apparently, some of the folks who have gotten the vaccine, the hospitals and so on, when they opened up their boxes of vaccine from COVID, they have more that, let me see how, there's supposed to be 5 somethings. There's 5 somethings, I don't know if it's CCs or 5, whatever. You're supposed to be able to pull 5 of them out of a vial of the vaccine. And many of the vials have 6 or sometimes even 7 of whatever this is in the vaccine, in the vial. And so they're saying they can actually, the amount of vaccines that some of these hospitals are getting, and they're supposed to handle, I'm picking numbers out of thin air, they're going to handle 1,000 people with 1,000 vaccines, but they've had extra vaccine inside each of these vials. They can maybe handle 1,010 instead. And the question the hospitals are saying, okay, can I use this extra vaccine? Can I take vaccine from one vial, mix it with vaccine from another vial? The CDC and Pfizer are trying to figure that out, but it sounds like a good thing, although I'm wondering, geez, how do they overfill these things? I guess, I suppose a little amount of overfill is not surprising, but I don't know. I just read the piece last night. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't give you the numbers, but inside each vial, there is more than a dose of the vaccine. So the question begins, can we use the extra stuff to extend the total amount of vaccine we're getting? Anyway, Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department begins vaccinating today. Community infrastructure, emergency response, public health officials. I mentioned my son who as a health department employee, already just got his this morning. And first responders, that includes fire, police, 9/11 centers, emergency management, correction staff, ambulance drivers and crew members, local health departments, dental, ortho, and oral surgery folks, and National Guard members who are working with COVID-19 people. All of those folks are getting their vaccines. They're rolling out today, or this week at least, at the Ohio County Health Department. Health Department says when more vaccines arrive or additional groups are identified, then they'll let people know when they can get them. So, again, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we're actually, some people are in the midst of the light. We're still in the tunnel. The numbers are still pretty significant. And they're still rising, not just here, but local, but nationwide as well. I think we've had like 2 days in a row, 2 or 3 days in a row, where we've had we've had record numbers all the way around. Let me look and see if I can find these real quick. The national numbers here, if I can skip through some papers. And of course, because I'm looking for it, I won't be able to find it. Turn one more page. Yeah, here we go. 3,400 deaths across the country yesterday. 3,400 deaths across the country. That is a new record of COVID deaths. So again, light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still in the tunnel. More than 113,000 are currently hospitalized with COVID-19. That is also a record. Sad stories, for example, California, they're now distributing body bags to different places because so many people are dying from COVID. So again, light at the end of the tunnel, but the tunnel is still there. And congressional negotiations finally close to an agreement on a $900 billion corona relief bill. That is the one that was kind of promulgated to begin with by Senator Manchin. And now they're working on it a bit. One of the things that I think Senator Manchin was not keen on having in the bill, but is apparently going to be in the bill, is we all are going to get $600. So hopefully, Biffy, you'll be looking forward to $600 coming in the mail or direct deposit sometime in the near future. $600 stimulus payment to most Americans. Also, additional $300 per week in unemployment assistance. It was $600 in the first go-around. Some folks felt that was too much, so $300 per week in unemployment assistance on top of whatever your unemployment would normally be. This bill would give more help to businesses. Second round of Paycheck Protection Plan payments. So this would be the first piece of legislation since the CARES Act was passed back in March. And speaking of the CARES Act, you remember earlier this week we talked with Brad McElhenney from Metro News about the fact that West Virginia still has $800 million of that CARES money left to spend. We've got $1.25 billion, and there's $800 million still just sitting in an account not spent yet. Well, the good news is it's not $800 million anymore. It's all the way down to $764 million. $764 million. So I don't know what the governor did over the last couple of days, but he spent some of that money, but still not enough.
Glad he didn't splurge or anything like that, and he's being real careful about how he spends it.
Yeah, $764,887,286 are still sitting in an account waiting to be distributed by the governor. I do not understand why it's not out. We have businesses and we have individuals who are directly hurting as a result of COVID. We have businesses like restaurants that are on the verge of shutting down because of COVID. And the governor is holding this money for, I don't know, just holding on to the money.
So apparently nobody could get to him and say that he can't keep it, apparently.
Well, no, and the scary thing is, December 30th, under the current legislation, that's the deadline to spend it. I mean, do some quick math. Somebody who's better at math than I am, $764,000 over the next, what do we have? Today's the 17th, right? So that's really just
13 days.
13 days. $764 million to be spent over the next 13 days in order to get it all out. Otherwise, theoretically, it goes back to the federal government. It goes back to the federal government because JJ didn't want to get it out there. That's criminal.
So
it's criminal.
Let's say he, and again, spends so much on business, the restaurants and the ones that needed the most. Okay, could he actually could he send a check to us as well? Could he do that? Like just send everybody in West Virginia a check?
Well, let's how many people do we have in the state? Yeah, that's.
I mean,
Governor,
could he do that?
If you gotta get it out fast, just send it to everybody.
Send it to everyone. But take care of the small businesses, the restaurants, and everyone that needs it first. Take care of that, and then if whatever's left over, I mean,
whatever's left over, I could use a little bit.
I mean, why not? We get some from West Virginia and some from D.C. I mean, we'd have it made.
And you know, the governor, he's kind of played fast and loose with the money is supposed to be used for COVID relief. But remember, in the beginning, a significant part of this money he used to fix highways, and he called them COVID highways. I don't know if the highways had the test or not. I mean, everybody laughed at a COVID highway. Come on. So we could claim, here's the idea. So you're right, Biffy. Send the money out to the restaurant owners and so on who need it, and then send us all some money with the stipulation that we have to spend it at a restaurant.
You could call it
which would then help those. So that would still be COVID relief, right?
You could call it the COVID Helping Small Businesses and Restaurants Relief.
I like that. If they would just put us in charge of things, Biff, do you know how we could fix this state so fast?
Oh, could you imagine?
Just put us in charge of things.
Oh, my. Charleston will never be the same.
I want you to think about these two numbers I'm going to give you, or three numbers. $1.26 billion we got in federal CARES Act money. That's the total. $764 million still unspent. Only $503 million has been spent. More than half the money is still being held. This is just... Senator Capito says that the new bill they're probably going to pass this week or early next is likely to extend that deadline. And I hope it does. But I hope somebody, somehow, somewhere, puts the pressure on Governor Justice to get the money out. And not put it into the unemployment relief fund so that businesses can get unemployment benefit help when the time comes. How about unemployment money for people who are, well, unemployed? Or businesses that are near out of business.
Well,
and and those businesses are like restaurants. I keep picking on restaurants. That's just one example. They're almost out of business in some cases, directly as a result of the governor's orders. Now, I don't quarrel with the governor's orders. I think it was a smart move to shut businesses down, to limit the number of people in restaurants. I don't disagree with the orders, but they have been part of the reason the restaurants are in such trouble. So wouldn't it make sense that if the governor's orders were among the reasons that they're in trouble, the governor's money could be used to help them try to stay afloat?
We may have to make a road trip. We may have to go down and tell him ourselves.
Can we give a call to Bray, see if we can get an appointment?
Yeah.
Bray will go, Monroe, aren't you the guy I threw out of my building at WTRF when I ran the TV? Yes, sir, I am the guy you threw out of the building. Senator Capito says, I've read the governor has said he's committed a lot of the $700 million so far. It just hasn't gone out the door. Well, no, it hasn't gone. It's sitting in an account. Asinine. Again, I've been more supportive of the governor of late, but this is ridiculous. Did you see the governor's the picture of the governor yesterday, Biffy? Earlier this week, he got his COVID test, and afterwards he tried to put not COVID test, but it's the COVID vaccine. Afterward, he tried to put a pin on that said, "I've received my vaccine." And before he put the pin on, he once again put the mask over his eyes.
Yeah, I think after I watched that, I thought that is another crap show by the governor.
Yeah. So there he was. His mask is over his eyes, and he's kind of fumbling around on his chest trying to pin or put a sticker on that says, "I received my COVID vaccine." Eventually, he lifted the mask up to look and see. Governor, if you're listening, and then sometimes I think his team does listen, you wear the mask over your mouth and your nose, not over your eyes. We now have at least 2 pictures running around the country of our governor with the mask over his eyes. See no evil, I guess. See no evil. Mr. Westfall there?
Yes, he is.
Bob Westfall, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Howard. I really wanted to bust into my best Jim Justice impersonation, but you know what? We just don't have the time. So.
Now, Bob, at the end of the rainbow, all I have is goodness for this state. And I'm holding all this money in reserve because I want to save it for goodness.
Yeah, John Lynch.
As soon as I get my mask off. What are you working on today, my friend?
Obviously, we're dealing with the snow cleanup. We had, I think it's 6 to 8 inches. I haven't talked to Zach yet, but a lot of roads, a lot of secondary roads are still mess. So we're going to get a follow-up on that today. The drive time last night was a mess. It was horrible. So we're going to see what is going on out there today when it comes to the weather. The West Virginia Northern's got a couple new programs dealing with opioid addiction. They're going to be offering those programs. We're going to find out exactly what those are because, again, as we've talked before, you know, we're still dealing with an epidemic within the pandemic when it comes to the opioids and opioid overdoses. Wheeling Police, I think, have sent out at least 2 warnings or alerts in the last week dealing with overdoses. So we're going to find out what that's all about and what the program is West Virginia Northern is going to be offering.
Yeah, we've gotten so focused on COVID that we sometimes forget there's other issues that are still out there pending, like the opioid epidemic. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Congressman McKinley, whenever he's in, he says the same thing. He says we're dealing with it. We're kind of forgetting about the pandemic or the epidemic within the pandemic. So we're going to find out what this program is and how it can help people. Also going to talk to Senator Capito. Obviously, the stimulus bill looks like it's moving. It may include a stimulus check to individuals. We'll see what that is. When I talked to her, she was hopeful that it would get done by tomorrow. So we'll have those details as well. So we'll see what's going on with that. And those are some of the bigger things. So we'll be following the weather. I know Zach and Aaron are in today. So we'll have the latest on what's next when it comes to the weather. So those are some of the bigger things we're working on today.
All right, sounds good. People can check it out on TV and on the radio, but TV at noon. Then again at 5, 6, 10, 11. 5:30 is the statewide show for all your statewide coverage. And as news develops throughout the day, the easiest and best way to find it is at WTRF.com and or the Facebook page of WTRF.
That's it. So everybody stay safe out there while they clean up the roads. So that's everything we got today.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Bob Westfall from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Checking in this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Just in time for me to say sayonara, see you, bye-bye, farewell. I got to go. I got to get out of here. Kercheval's away on vacation. Dave Wilson one more day today, filling in on statewide talk line for Hoppy. That's coming up next here on the Watchdog. As for me, good Lord willing, creeks don't rise, bat phone doesn't ring. Don't get impeached. Don't retire. ticker keeps on ticking, and my heart doctor gave me a good, clean bill of health yesterday, so I think it can keep on ticking.
Yay.
And most importantly, Teddy says, it's okay, you can go back to work tomorrow, Granddad. I shall return tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, with a go-around of the big gig. Are you back with me, Brother Biff?
I'm back ready to end another week.
We will keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
All right, we made a reasonably good show out of that, I think. Yeah, it was really good to talk to him again. I always enjoy talking to him, so hopefully he can get himself back on track, and we can get him back on a regular basis again. But in the meantime, at least we'll check in from time to time and see how he's doing. So that's good. Kathy was good. Worked out okay today. It worked out all right. Not a lot excited. I got a nasty text on my personal text line. Says something. Said, wow, traveling to Disney and talking to your old high school friends. Don't you ever talk anything serious anymore? Jeez, I just want to slap people sometimes, just Jiminy Christmas. And we're a week away from Christmas. Unless something really serious develops, we're not going to talk very serious at all between now and Christmas. And probably between now and New Year's, to be honest with you. Right. And I'm taking Monday off after Christmas, so I won't be there on Monday. It's 3 days next week, 4 days. No. For me, 3 days the next week, too. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we're off again on Friday. So, Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And MSN, Mountaineer Sports Network, they're putting out a replay of the old backyard brawl, one of the old backyard brawl games to use at our convenience anytime over the holiday, just as filler. So I don't know what we may do about that, whether we're going to run that or not. But yeah, so honestly, 3 days next week, tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, I'm off the following Monday, so then for me at least, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe not even Thursday, depending on what happens with games and stuff. Then we're off again. So unless, some major news happens, we're just not going to spend any time getting serious. My show prep basically has been just putting a big stack of Christmas stories together, and whenever we have time, just throw some Christmas crap out there. I shouldn't say Christmas crap. but Christmas stories. McCabe tomorrow, I assume. I don't have anything else, and I may not bother to put anything else together. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Appreciate your help today. Made it a pretty good one. That's good. We'll do it again in the morning. If you need anything, give me a call. I'll be around. I'll try and check on Letters with Santa so I can figure out what's going on, so I don't promote the wrong thing, because then I can get in trouble. No, so I'll figure it out. All right, thanks for your help. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.
Sorry and troubled that her home was invaded and that she had to face the humiliation and trauma that she suffered.
Young, who is a social worker, says she continues to relive those terrifying moments.
Anjanette Young was naked when the cops raided her home. She was forced to sit handcuffed, wrapped only in a blanket for almost an hour while police searched her home. The Justice Department's expected to unseal new charges against a Libyan bomb expert in the attack on Pan Am Flight 103. The bombing of the plane killed 189 Americans when it took place over Lockerbie, Scotland, almost 32 years ago. This is ABC News.
Sales are rising quickly, but without another lead baker, Dale's Bakery is going to feel the heat.
Hey, you're baking alone today. I have to handle this order for the restaurant down the street.
Cool, but who's going to handle the pastries?